Okay, so we're diving into some hip-hop history today.
Yeah.
Specifically Diddy.
Right.
And, I think everybody knows Diddy.
Of course.
And, we all love his music, from back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
But the articles you sent in are
Yeah, they're pretty wild.
pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
They really take you behind the scenes.
Behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do today.
Okay.
We're going to deep dive into all this stuff about Diddy
All right, let's do it.
that, you sent in.
Let's get into it.
The articles, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy?
Right. Is this all just, like a hit job, or is there something more to it?
Exactly.
Let's find out.
So one thing that really stuck out to me
Yeah.
was all this stuff about his parties.
Oh, yeah, the parties.
Back in the day.
The infamous Diddy parties, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sound pretty crazy.
Well, they sound crazy, but also, kind of scary in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you read about them, and it's were these really just parties, or was there something a little more sinister going on?
Yeah, were they safe?
Exactly, were people taken advantage of?
Yeah, and was there pressure to,
Yeah, was it consensual even?
get in with the in crowd,
Right, you had to be there to, make it.
Yeah, or was it all just, a big publicity stunt?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing, too, is,
Yeah.
These stories that are coming out about the parties, are they,
Are they true?
Are they true?
Are they exaggerated? Are they just rumors?
Yeah.
I mean,
is this just
it's hard to know.
a smear campaign?
Yeah, but there's definitely a pattern here.
Right.
And you mentioned, this idea of fear keeps coming up in these articles.
Yeah, people were afraid to cross Diddy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had so much power and influence that, people were afraid to say no to him.
Yeah.
To speak out against him.
And what does that say about the industry as a whole?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Was this just a Diddy thing, or was this a wider problem?
Yeah, is it still a problem?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's something to think about.
So one guy who we know for sure was not afraid of Diddy is 50 Cent.
50 Cent, oh man. He's the poster child for not being afraid of anyone.
Right.
He's gone after everybody.
Exactly.
And Diddy was one of his biggest targets.
And I think that, for people who aren't
right.
super into hip hop.
Yeah.
One of the things that people love about it is
the beef.
The beef.
The drama.
Yeah. Rivalries.
The rivalries, and it makes it fun, right?
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture. It's you got your favorite sports team.
Right.
You got your favorite rappers, and they're going to go at it.
And you pick sides.
Yeah.
That's exactly. You rep your team.
So it's fun.
Exactly.
But this one with 50 and Diddy seems like it went deeper.
Right. It wasn't just a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
There's real animosity there.
Yeah.
They genuinely did not like each other.
Yeah.
And it went on for years.
Yeah. And 50?
I mean,
he really went after him?
He did not hold back at all.
No.
He was ruthless.
With the diss tracks.
Oh, yeah. The diss tracks were brutal.
Yeah.
He was just coming at Diddy from every angle, calling him out on his business practices.
His lifestyle.
His relationships.
His music.
Everything.
Yeah, and it was
the thing was off limits.
I mean, do you think it was all just personal beef?
I mean, I think there was definitely a personal element to it.
Yeah.
They clearly didn't like each other.
Yeah.
But I also think it was about more than that.
Yeah, what?
I think it was about a shift in power in the industry. Diddy was the old guard.
Okay.
And 50 Cent was the new wave.
Okay.
And they were clashing over who was going to control the future of hip hop.
So their beef was a metaphor for
exactly
the whole industry?
It was a microcosm of what was happening in the larger hip hop world.
Okay.
And then you add in the whole Biggie thing.
Yeah.
And it gets even more complicated.
So for people who don't know,
right.
Biggie Smalls.
But notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, it was
one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Arguably the best.
I mean, he was definitely up there.
For sure.
His impact on hip hop is undeniable.
Yeah, and he was
a legend.
Super close with Diddy.
Yeah, they were best friends.
Yeah.
Business partners.
Yeah.
They came up together.
And then Biggie tragically,
Yeah, he was murdered.
Yeah, he was murdered in 97.
97, way too young.
And Diddy takes over.
Yeah, he kind of takes the reins of Bad Boy Records.
Yeah.
Which was Biggie's label.
Right.
And, he continues to release Biggie's music.
Mm-hmm.
posthumously.
Yeah. And that's where I think...
And that's where the controversy comes in.
A lot of people get upset.
Right. Yeah.
Because they feel like Diddy is exploiting Biggie's legacy.
Right. They're saying that he's basically profiting off of his dead friend.
He's using his name to make money.
Yeah. And they're saying,
Right.
that he's not really honoring his legacy.
Yeah, like he's not really focused on preserving his art.
Right.
He's just focused on the bottom line.
Yeah. And it's tough because...
It's a tough situation.
Like, on the one hand...
Right.
Like, you want to keep the music alive.
Of course.
You want to...
You want to share it with new generation?
Yeah. Introduce it to new people.
Exactly.
But
at the same time...
You don't want to be like...
You don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like a vulture.
Yeah.
Just picking at the bones.
Oh, it's a
delicate balance.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think it's something that a lot of people are grappling with.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because it's not just like the older generation.
Right.
That's,
it's
not just like old heads versus new school.
Right.
Like there are younger artists too who are critical of Diddy.
Like J. Cole.
J. Cole.
Yeah, he's a good example.
Yeah, like he's been pretty vocal.
Yeah.
About his...
Yeah, his dislike for Diddy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that whole thing at the awards show.
Oh, yeah.
Where they, had that confrontation.
Yeah, that was tense.
It was very tense.
Yeah, you could tell,
there's a lot of bad blood there.
That they didn't like each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
And I think that speaks to a larger generational divide in hip-hop.
Yeah.
You have these newer artists who are coming up.
Yeah.
And they're looking at the old guard.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not impressed.
They're not buying it.
They're not buying it.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys had your time.
Yeah.
Now it's our turn.
We're going to do things differently.
We're going to change the game.
Yeah, and I think that's...
exciting.
Yeah.
It's like a changing of the guard.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah. So speaking of
Yeah.
This whole changing of the guard,
Mm-hmm.
like Eminem.
Eminem, yeah.
He's always been
He's always been his own man.
Yeah.
He doesn't really fit into any category.
Yeah, and he's always been
He's always been respected.
Super respected in the game.
By everyone.
By everyone.
Yeah.
But even he has a complicated relationship with Diddy.
Yeah.
He's mentioned him in his lyrics over the years.
Yeah.
And it's always a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's complimentary.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's critical.
Yeah.
He's acknowledging Diddy's accomplishments.
Right.
But he's also not afraid to call him out on his, his questionable behavior.
Right. And I think that's
significant.
Yeah.
Because it shows that even someone like Eminem, who's at the top of the game, is aware of the controversies surrounding Diddy.
Right.
And he's not just going to ignore them. He's going to address them.
Oh, it's
in his own way.
Yeah, Diddy's reputation precedes him.
It follows him everywhere.
Yeah.
He can't escape it.
Yeah, even with Eminem.
Who's the biggest rapper in the world.
Yeah.
He still can't escape it.
And we can't talk about all this without talking about Kanye West.
Oh, man.
Their relationship.
That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had their ups and downs for years.
And Kanye's not afraid to say what he thinks.
No, Kanye is never afraid to speak his mind.
About anyone.
About anything.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not.
Yes.
And that's led to some pretty explosive moments.
Yeah.
Between him and Diddy.
Public feuds.
Yeah.
Arguments.
Back and forths. Yeah. Just a lot of drama.
Yeah. So it's
And I think that's what makes this whole Diddy thing so fascinating.
Okay.
He's this lightning rod for controversy.
Yeah.
He just attracts it.
Yeah, it's
And I think it's because...
Who is it about him?
I think it's because he represents this old way of doing things in hip-hop.
Yeah.
He came up in a time when it was all about the money, the cars, the girls, the excess,
Yeah.
And that's not really what hip-hop is about anymore, at least not for a lot of people. There's a new generation of artists who are more focused on substance.
Yeah.
Authenticity.
Yeah. Keeping it real.
Yeah. And Diddy just doesn't really fit into that mold anymore.
And so I think that's why.
He's constantly butting heads with people.
So we've gone from these crazy parties to diss tracks to, accusations of exploiting
his friend's legacy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
it's a lot.
Yeah. And I think what we've learned is that Diddy is a really complicated figure.
He's a complex dude.
Yeah.
He's not just a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's both.
He's a human being.
He's a human being
with
flaws.
With flaws.
And contradictions.
Yeah, and I think that's important to remember.
It is.
Yeah.
Because, we tend to put people in boxes. We want to label them as, like, good or bad.
Right, yeah.
But real life is more complicated than that.
Yeah, and I think Diddy is a perfect example of that.
He is.
Yeah.
So the question is, can he redeem himself?
Yeah, like, is there a path to redemption?
Is there a way for him to, like, make things right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, can he reconcile his business savvy with the artistic integrity of hip-hop?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, can he be both?
Can he be both?
Like a successful businessman and a true artist.
The supporter of the culture?
Guardian of the culture.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, but it's one that I think is worth asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yeah, this deep dive has just scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
But I hope it's given you some food for thought.
Yeah, some things to think about.
Yeah, so keep exploring, keep digging.
Keep the conversation going.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
For another deep dive.
Peace.
Peace.